better. So Flock is a series of different technologies all under one umbrella. In the City of Prescott, we have a couple of different items from their offering on equipment list. And again, these are in place and installed as of this recording, which is January 9th, 2026. So you've got your PTZ camera. This is a pan tilt zoom camera. You've got your fixed camera, and they're marketed under license plate reading. So in Prescott, this is an overview map. This came from a public record request with all the different locations. Everywhere that you see green, you've got some kind of camera, whether it's a still camera or video camera. And as you can see, it's really impossible to either leave or enter our city without going by cameras. And we've got some neighborhoods, and I've been told this, and I've seen it myself, you really can't find a way to get around these cameras. So they're everywhere. The interesting part is there's a movement to go against these cameras. DFlock is an app you can get. I've downloaded it myself. It's easy to use, and you can actually add locations to that map. It really is incumbent upon us to do the inventory of where these cameras are. And we have been adding, our city has been adding more cameras, including a big increase in August of this past year. So they keep adding more cameras. The budget has gone up from $48,000 a year to $155,000 per our last public record request. Now I've got this is all part of the movement, if you will, of trying to say, wait a second, this is surveillance. What in the world's going on? I'm going to do a separate video on the actual contract, but the language really has to do with creating evidence. It really is for potential cases for crime. So we've got someone from the business reform, and we've got someone named Ben who's in that lower right-hand corner. I will have links to both videos. I would encourage you to start educating yourself on what the possibilities are with this kind of setup. And I'm going to do a little use case, or a case study, as they like to say. This is a little town in Virginia. Super cute, right? And again, there's been a tie-in to ICE and policing for removing immigrants that aren't supposed to be here, or people who aren't supposed to be here. I'm going to keep that separate. This case study has nothing to do with that argument, okay? The argument being that, again, that the cameras are creating this incredible amount of data on you and where you're going and what's going on. That's what's really bothering people. And this is from Ben's video on hacking, because he was able to use some open source technology, and guess what? He could get in. And then, of course, the whole point of AI is that it's like a supercomputer. It's like a superconductor, right? It just can do things so much faster and connect information. So there's no such thing as being anonymous. And that's what Ben does a good job on. I did a public record request, and this has to do with one car, one plate in City of Prescott. And this shows, again, what happens when you get the information back. This is the equipment list. The photograph on the left is my car. It takes photos day and night. It had information incorrect about the body shape. It called it a coupe, called it convertible. It had the color is green, had the color is gray. So again, this information is amazingly interesting, because all of that redaction is because they had to redact, because even though it's considered public record, they didn't want to reveal other information. So they had to go through a lot of work to filter out information, but they are capturing a lot within these cameras. And this is a view of my house, general location, and how many cameras there are. And really, there's no way to leave my neighborhood with any ease without going through the surveillance check mark. The question came up about accountability, and oaths are a big deal. We have public elected officials for a reason. They hold office to represent us, and they take an oath, and they swear to uphold their oath. And that includes the U.S. Constitution, which is really getting to be a big part of this discussion. So again, if you're in Prescott Valley, we've got cameras, or I should say they have cameras everywhere. And going back to the story in Virginia, let's see what we've got here. Going back to the story in Virginia, this was the real issue. Again, it had to do with the police chief getting responses from citizens saying they don't like it. And then this is Garrett Langley. He's the CEO of Flock, saying, hey, we know that we are under coordinated, quote unquote, coordinated attack. This is something to be aware of and be careful of. We're not doing a request or a requirement to take a look at our situation just because we want to be part of a bigger conspiracy theory or anything else. This is just a basic concept in America. You don't get to surveil people, right? That's just it. You don't get to. And so that's what's really happening here. Flock is trying to make the argument that they're under coordinated attack and that these YouTube videos, whether it's Business Reform or Ben or anyone else, maybe even me, we're all trying to do this thing to go against our police. I will say that's not true at all. In fact, we really want police to be able to do their job without the filter of AI by a third-party private company. And so this police chief, in Virginia wrote and said, hey, look, I don't want this to be an issue in my community. So he's a proponent of community-oriented policing. He believes that the community must work together to effectively reduce crime and improve the overall quality of life. I think that is absolutely paramount. Is being watched a quality of life issue? I would argue yes, all day. Going back to the correspondence, here we go. Here's from Garrett. He's saying it's tough every day waking up to the stories of being misled about this and only representing one side of the story. So there's this moment where to believe that there's a drama unfolding because this company, valued at $7.5 billion or something, and keep all this in mind. We have to recognize that police departments may view this as the best thing ever, but at the same time, there are absolute repercussions. And again, there is a Fourth Amendment for a reason. And so again, this police chief put it, and I'm just quoting here, a nice curtain of technology, which would make it difficult to drive anywhere of any distance without running into a camera somewhere. And I showed you the map in Prescott. I encourage you to use DFlock, start to add cameras, pay attention to where these cameras are right now and take a look at what they look like. Again, I'll have this video posted so you can slow down that first part of the screens. They're plasticky looking. They're not the big metally things that have to do more with traffic control. These are definitely a little different. They look a little R2-D2, if you will. And again, we have them in Prescott all over the place. And when I compare this company to LifeLock, which again was set up to what? Protect your identity and protect all these things. It was a private company. It raised a ton of money and it ended up getting sold. And so again, Flock Safety, this is from Pitch Deck. It's a corporation. There is no oath. There is no allegiance. All responsibility falls per the contract on the city. So again, they are acting as a middleman to create a product, and the product is us. And they have patents. And again, you'll hear Business Reform John talk about the fact that they use the word surveillance. It's not just people on YouTube. They have affiliates. And again, they're going to be doing more things like with Ring Doorbell. Here's their timeline, their financing. I mean, again, this is a business, but do you want to be part of the business? Do you get a value proposition for being part of this? And will you be part of the VC exit? We have incredible wealth behind this kind of thing. This is not put together a couple of friends and family and we'll put some dollars together. And what I think is paramount, again, to emphasize is Larry's own quote from September of 2024, we're going to have supervision. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we are constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. Well, thank you, Larry, but no thanks. All right, no thanks. This is what Ring Doorbell, this is again an announcement. So if you've got Ring Doorbell, if you're in an HOA and you've signed up for Flock, your HOA has, time to rethink. Time to rethink. They've got this search. Again, AI is in everyone's mindset because it is a big opportunity and a big threat. So what happens when you get to put in this kind of technology with this kind of footage? And again, we're paying for all of this, if you will, all of it. So the simple story of it just being a license plate reader, don't buy into it. There's a lot more at stake here. There's a lot more going on. Thank you so much for your attention. We'll have more.